I guess I have to do it like this, a little bit offset. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna try and find memoirs of combustion. Because it might be the case that I was wrong. And Crawford is not the one who first demonstrated the association between carbon respiration and combustion. It still might be Lavoisier. I thought it was from. Let's go to my OG source. It was this one. No more. Lavoisier's first memoir in 1777. Lavoisier, constant temperature. This phenomenon. I don't know if he talked about carbon though. What happened? Published. Bioblast. That's funny. Because the Britannica associates metabolism with the mitochondria being the cellular site of combustion, first demonstrated by Lavoisier, but Lavoisier died before we ever identified the mitochondria, which were originally called bioblasts. And now I'm reading about Lavoisier on a site called Bioblasts about his theory of heat that's later going to be falsely attributed to the bioblasts, which are the mitochondria. So it's a little, there's a little bit of layers. Early manuscripts, nature of chemical elements. I'm looking for respiration. Second article published, proposed a new theory of combustion. Okay, Stahl's theory that the hypothesis opposed does the same. Series opposed to Stahl's because Lavoisier does not support the existence of fire in combustibles and metal. Where's the matter fire prior to combustion? Lavoisier did not support the existence of fire. Must be contained electric fluids. Stating the conclusions reached in the first article, Lavoisier went on to examine the nature of dephlogisticated air as an elastic fluid. It is an ingenious compound in which the manner of fire as an elastic fluid. It is the igneous compound in which the matter of fire or light forms what he calls the dissolvent in another substance that forms the base. They said Lavoisier did not suppose the existence of fire in metal. Well, I guess okay, that's different because he did not suppose it. If the base unites with a substance for which it has a greater affinity than it has for the fire matter, the dissolvent fire would be set free. This is what happens during combustion and calcination. So things is like just pushing out the fire and when it rejoins. At this point, his theory of here, it's just like, I guess, kind of what happens. Pushes out the extra energy, pushes out the extra electromagnetic radiation. At this point, his theory of heat plays its critical role. Phlogistonists are mistaken in their belief that fire is fixed in combustible substances, as the three states of matter depend only on the relative quantity of fire combined in them. It is plain that vapors contain the most fire and solids the least. Thus, if combustion is a process of condensation in combination of a vapor air with some solid or liquid, the heat of the combustion must come from the vapor and not from the liquid or the solid combustible. So that's the reasoning on why oxygen produces the heat. Indeed, solids should contain no fire at all, except perhaps what is present in the form of free fire owing to the tendency of fire matter to equilibrium. Need to source the original document. You must be. Lavoisier considered his new theory of combustion to be the reverse of the phlogiston theory not because he viewed combustion as a process of combination of a combustible part of the air rather than the dissolution of an essentially compound combustible, but because of his conception of the nature of the igneous compound, which is the source of the fire, is released. The heat and flame of combustion come not from a solid, compact combustible, as Stahl believed. The source of fire is a fluid, elastic air. Okay, the source of fire is air, because it has the most within it, has the most energy and heat within it. The sine qua non of Lavoisier's theory, I wonder what that means. It's not a reading, so I'm going script. Script. An essential thing that's absolutely necessary, and to find one.
Sine qua non.
Okay. Sine qua non. Sine qua non of Lavoisier theory of heat. I forgot how you say heat. And its connection with the oxidation theory hinges on the assumption the basic identity in the process of formation of vapors and of gases. With or without phlogiston, there is still the problem of explaining the heat and flame of combustion. With or without phlogiston, there is still the problem of explaining the heat and flame of combustion. I'm zoning. The sine qua non of Lavoisier's theory of heat and its connection with the oxidation theory hinges upon the assumption that the basic identity of the process of formation of vapors and gases. With or without phlogiston, there is still the problem of explaining the heat and flame of combustion. Lavoisier associated fire matter with dephlogistonated air. Prior to its release, fire is contained in this air in the form of latent heat of vaporization. Okay, things are starting to click more and more, like rusty gears are turning. The main outlines of Lavoisier's theory of heat, particularly the close complementary relationship between this theory and the explanation of the chemical action of air, persist in his subsequent publications until 1781. His theory of heat is a coherent whole. His point of view is fairly uniform, and there is a clear progression of ideas from the manuscripts of 1766 to the papers on elastic fluids and combustion of 1777 to 1778. His attention was riveted to the processes of vaporization almost to the complete exclusion of everything else. Although he said that all changes of state are caused by the combination and release of fire, specific discussions of fusion are conspicuously absent. His single-minded purpose was to demonstrate his theory that fluid elasticity is a state, that airborne fluids are vapors, and that vaporization is a chemical process caused by the combination of the matter of fire influenced by external pressure of the atmosphere. Both experimental and theoretical work on heat until 1781 seem to have been restricted almost entirely to this end. Interesting. Throughout, the single phenomenon which clearly indicates change in the state of fire is change in temperature. Experimental evidence he cited showed such a change: evaporation, condensation, effervescence, combustion. Effervescence is bubbling, okay, liquid fizz. He ignored alcohols or vinegars. He ignored vaporizations. Vinegar, funny enough, is where the word alcohol or oxygen comes from the Greek, because the Latin is vinegar, the Greek is oxide, and they thought that oxygen was the basis of vinegar, but it was actually hydrogen, which is the other component of water, that they discovered as well. It's really interesting. He ignored vaporization caused by the application of external heat. Indeed, in what was practically his only mention, unpublished, during this period of boiling over an external heat source, he said, "It is impossible to appreciate a lot of stuff. The special occasion of the absorption of the matter of gas." I don't know. I'm trying. For the simple reason that the external heat source furnishes more matter of fire than is absorbed during vaporization. It's like, why would you publish a whole article in English and quote things in French and not have like at least your attempt to translate it? Just like even paraphrased by a friend. Constant temperature phenomena were not cited in any part of his paper. Papers as evidence to support his theory. Lavoisier had learned of Black's ideas in August 1772. In October 1772, he even cited his own fusion experiment as a further example of what Black had observed. But neither this experiment nor any other constant temperature phenomenon play a part in Lavoisier's work up to 1781, except what may be read into his general idea that almost all substances can exist in three states, and that all changes of state are due to the combination of the matter of fire. Crawford and Magellan. So what we're talking about. Beginning of the middle of 1781, character experiments, heat and memoirs, heat expressed point of views, period. First time, hard look, phenomenon, Black, concept, latent heat, heat capacity, same time, these phenomenons, heat, distinctly physical flavor lacking in preceding work, perhaps due to the influence of Laplace, or they also spelled Laplace wrong. Gaspard Monge. I don't care if like Laplace transformation is still Laplace transformation, but when we cite the influence of de Laplace, we should get his name right. 1779, year before Lavoisier's papers of 1777 were printed, the Irish physician and chemist Adair Crawford published a work on heat in which he anticipated in print some of Lavoisier's ideas. Okay, this is where I got it from. Okay, so it was Lavoisier wrote about it 2 years wrote about it before Crawford, but okay, Crawford wrote about it before Lavoisier, independently coming to the same conclusions. Okay. Okay. It's been like a year since it's been 9 months since I think I've read this paper, and then I decided to read Lavoisier by himself. Ooh, we got there. All right. What's up on Kick? What's up, everybody? We're doing the hard stuff to change the world and do cool things. And this is the hard, boring stuff that we do. I still want to see if I can find this. Okay, found it. There's probably a free version somewhere. Interesting. Chemical revolution. Lavoisier. Beautiful. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Acid generator. Oxygen. Everything. Yeah. Damn. Woo! Oh yeah, boy. Sick. Adding this to the history section. Oh, oh. Commemorative booklet. I feel like I should print this out. I want to bring a copy of this with me. So cool. Uh-huh. 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 All right. Cool finds. Still need to find. Boom, 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 boom. Mhm. Cool. 315 pages. Jesus. Ah, okay. It was like from the 30s or something. Um, mhm. Oh, 2019. Still alive? Yes, he is. No way. Ancestor? Cool. It's basically royalty, right? For eternity. Like saying your last name is Einstein. Okay, okay. Wow. 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 Okay. Well, that's incredible. To my one kick viewer. God damn it.
And cord.
Oh, maybe no viewers. Even better. Oh, maybe no viewers. Even better. Maybe no viewers. Oh, I've been live for 6 minutes. Crazy. Oh, I've been live for 6 minutes. Crazy. Good. Alright. It's fine. Good. Alright.